my name's Anh Thy Hoang, and I would describe myself as mostly an oil painter, and I mostly do figurative work. And in terms of subject matter, I'm not really tied to one. It's mostly what I experience in my daily life. I just pitter patter from subject to subject. I would definitely say in the beginning of my painting career, a lot of inspiration I took was a lot of like my experience with my family and my culture because that was what I was dealing with a lot in high school was trying to figure out like the in-betweens of being Asian American, being from Vietnam, but having to live in America and go through the American school system. Siblings were much older, so they were 13 when they moved here and I was only 3. So their experience growing up Asian American was much different. And there were a lot of, I guess, tensions in the family because of it, because we had very different experiences growing up as Asian Americans. Me being able to assimilate a little bit more and them having a little bit of a rougher time. And so that was a lot of what I was reflecting on in the beginning of my painting career. As of right now, it is very true. Like community is kind of what I think of when I think of what I'm inspired by. As of right now, I'm very much, I guess, in like the rave community in LA. That's kind of what's really taken on my, that's really what's on my mind right now, what I'm in. So I'd say a lot of my art right now pulls in for inspiration from that. I think in the beginning of my experience, my painting experience, it was a lot more cultural stuff. Nowadays, it's whatever culture I have my toe in. So as of right now, it's that rave culture in LA. I think the one repeating theme in my work, no matter what I'm painting about, whether it's a struggle with being Asian American or my love for being Asian American, the one thing that's always present is the care that my parents had for me. Like the one painting I'm showing is called Tetris, and that one is very specifically about how me and my mom fit together. Even when we were having our struggles, we had something tying us together. And in that painting, I've included a pattern from an old duvet that we used to sleep on in our first apartment in America, as well as like kind of comparing that with the way Tetris tiles fit together. It's just patterns on patterns and patterns. And I think in Vietnamese culture, we are like a culture that really appreciates maximalism and pattern. When I go to Vietnam, like everything is like that. Bright colors everywhere, pastel colors, pastel walls. And the nightlife is really bright too. So I always think of like where I get like the bright colors I like from. And I think it is just in my culture, like we like bright colors. And I remember growing up as a kid, my dad would always yell at me because I would wear like really dark colors. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he'd say stuff like, that's not ladylike. Like, why are you wearing black or blue or navy? And so it's just natural that we gravitate towards bright colors. When I think of the material I work with, I think it's not necessarily that it's always been connected to my community because when you think of like oil paint, I've thought a lot about the fact that I oil paint and how it's kind of like antiquated. Because nowadays everyone's doing like weird, crazy stuff with like weird, crazy things, a lot of 3D art, a lot of installation art. And like I do feel kind of old for just still painting on canvas. But when you think about like people that have a chance to be painted on canvases, it's not like people like us. So I've like really thought about like representation in paintings. And I think more Asian American communities need that sort of representation in oil paintings, as well as like the rave community. Like no one ever paints ravers. So it's all about like representation and like getting stuff out there that isn't usually out there for me.